At the end of the summer of 1941, the German Wehrmacht is advancing on all fronts. The Nazis are storming towards Leningrad, trying to take it. On September 1st, after the capture of the Harihar fortress, nothing prevents the German tanks from moving further to Leningrad, but the commander of the Group North, Field Marshal von Lieb, gives a strange order to enter Harihar and the object code-named Flow of Life. What was this object? Why did the Germans decide to postpone the blockade of Leningrad and made a special detour to the side? Maybe there was a lab developing top-secret weapons. Yes, indeed, it was an experimental laboratory, only it made drinks according to an old Russian recipe based on Ivan chai. German fascist troops broke into Harihar and the tanks literally destroyed the city, literally trampled on all Ivan's tea fields with caterpillars, destroyed all the laboratories engaged in Ivan's chai, testifies historian Alexander Sirayagin. But why did the invaders attach such importance to a common plant that is ubiquitous in Russia? Maybe they knew something we shouldn't know. Share your opinions in the comments. Watch the video to the end, it will be interesting. Is everything really explained by some unique characteristics of the Ivan chai? What do we know about this plant today? In Russia it was known since antiquity, a small part of all useful properties of this plant, but the most important is its unique chemical composition, thanks to which Ivan chai remedies can be considered a real elixir of longevity. The codename River of Life was therefore quite justified. It turns out that in the biochemical laboratories of the Copperite tea factory, work was being done to create a unique drink that was supposed to increase the stamina of the Red Army soldiers. The famous healer Pyotr Badmeev, who studied Tibetan medicine, even opened a clinic where, among other things, he made elixirs based on Ivan chai, which, by the way, were used by the aristocracy and the imperial family. Badmeev himself took the drug, which included Ivan chai, and claimed that such herbal elixirs could prolong life by at least 200 years. However, Badmeev was arrested at the age of 109, and although he was released a few months later, torture and servitude eroded his health. Badmeev died. All documentation was destroyed. The recipe was lost. Who do you think needed all this? Here is what famous Russian scientists wrote about Ivan chai. Academician Albert Nikitin. After our study of Ivan chai, it turned out that depending on the area it contains from 69 to 71 useful trace elements. This is 2/3 of the periodic table, and most importantly it is an unsurpassed antiseptic. Just amazing. There are no analogues in the plant world. In addition to antiseptic properties, it has the property of cleansing the body of slags when the cell cannot perform its functions. When drinking tea, the whole body is cleansed, and within 2 weeks with regular use, every day 3-4 times a day, you will feel the body begin to bloom. The fullness will pass, calm will return. After taking 2 cups of tea, the hangover syndrome will be eliminated. Ivan chai will be brewed 3 to 4 times because it does not give up its healing properties. Academician Valery Emelianov. Ivan chai heals many diseases: gastritis, stomach ulcers, prostate, and what diseases it does not heal. The tea for hundreds of diseases. Famous academician Pavlov. We traditionally drink Russian tea, willow herb tea, Copperite tea, and most importantly, you can drink it all your life. Willow herb is a powerful monomodulator in which honorol, an anti-cancer agent, has now been found. It also acts on B lymphocytes, which protect against viruses, and on T lymphocytes, which protect against cancerous tumors. He has the effect of sleeping pills. That is, you drink Ivan chai during the day and work calmly, and if you continue to drink in the evening, you will fall asleep well. If you already wanted Ivan chai, put your thumbs under the video. Hurry around the kettle putting it on now. That will be the most interesting thing. How many people today know that in the 19th century Russia had serious income from the sale of Kapor's tea? On the foreign market, this plant ranked 2nd or 3rd in terms of exports and represented a serious competitor to the teas of the East India Company, and this, although at the same time Russian merchants were one of the largest owners of tea plantations in China and had the opportunity to do so to import as much black and green tea as needed. But Great Britain, which had huge tea plantations in India, preferred Russian tea and bought it in large quantities, so it was called Russian tea in Europe. The popularity of the Russian drink seemed so great that it began to undermine the financial power of the East India Company, which is said to be harmful to health. All this, of course, was not true, and the white clay itself is not harmful, but the goal became reached. Russian tea purchases declined, and after the 1917 revolution they ceased altogether. The center for the production of Russian tea in Kapari went bankrupt. And now some interesting facts. It has long been known that the European tea boom started with the British, who even created a special type of sea vessels for high-speed transport of this exotic from the Indian colonies. However, the tea business brought serious profits, like the coffee business, and then the question arises why actually? It was necessary to carry both tea and coffee from afar, which of course affected the price. So why on earth, among other hot drinks, people suddenly began to highlight these, despite their high price? The answer lies on the surface. Because both coffee and tea are addictive, it's no secret that both drinks contain caffeine and tannins that have a narcotic effect. And not only that, dangerous ingredients in Indian black tea, including ephedrine, which is also considered a narcotic in medicines. Here's what academician I.P. Pavlov said in 1936. Comrades, dear Russians, you can only drink a small cup of Chinese or Indian, other tea or a cup of coffee a day. That's no longer possible. It's too harmful. Why is this harmful? People's body was created without caffeine. Caffeine is not formed in our plant world. It is not in plants. It was not in the food chain. And then suddenly Chinese, Indian tea, and they also started drinking green tea, and it contains 3 times more caffeine than in black tea. And then we wonder where the ulcers, gastritis, strokes, heart attacks come from, and what other diseases there are. A famous physiologist recommended drinking Kapuri tea 3 to 4 cups a day, because it does not deplete the body's reserves, like caffeine and thiobromin, which are not included in the composition, but on the contrary invigorates, clears the brain and improves health and increased longevity. Let's explain that the long-term effect of drinking tea and coffee, which seems to be invigorating, ends up being the exact opposite. A person becomes passive and sluggish. Lethargy and chronic fatigue syndrome appear. Ordinary teas and coffee are more like drugs as drinks for daily use and should not be taken constantly. Ivan chai, on the contrary, was part of a unique nutritional system that developed in Russia as early as Vedic times and became the basis for Russians' very good health and longevity, which we have already talked about. In earlier times, flax and hemp seeds were actively used for food. They prepared vegetable bread, and most of the diet consisted of whole cheese and vegetables, root crops, fruit seeds, cereals only at a certain time, various vegetables, root crops, beer, flax, field medicinal plants, Ivan chai, willow. These are the most valuable products that our ancestors constantly used, and this prevented diseases. In the pre-war years, the leadership of Russia finally recognized the importance of the traditional principles of nutrition, as well as the fact that further study and use of Ivan chai will significantly improve the health of Soviet citizens. Therefore, a unique research and production center was created in the city of Kapari. By personal decree of Beria, the production of drinks from Ivan chai according to old Russian recipes was started. They were supplied to pharmacies and hospitals in the country. This unique laboratory was used by the Nazis, razed to the ground in 1941. Willow. This is a very strong plant. It is the first to emerge after fires. It germinates on burned out soil, seemingly unsuitable for life. This plant is largely pollinated by moths. Its flowers do not close at night when the Ivan chai grows. Other weeds do not germinate, and this is a wild plant. In addition, in Russia, Ivan chai grows like a weed, with huge plantations everywhere, but at the same time they continue to buy tons of non-native teas and coffee, and although there are many useful wild plants next to Ivan chai, there are in Russia, have always been associated with health benefits used. And another fact, this plant does not contain GMOs, not because they have not tried to genetically modify it, but because Ivan chai does not lend itself to such modification. This plant surpasses honey and algae in the content of useful substances, in which, by the way, there is everything so that a person lives a long time and does not get sick. However, today interest in Ivan chai awakens, as well as in the entire Slavic tradition. Our ancestors have priceless experience and knowledge accumulated, the essence of which we are only beginning to understand today, and even then it is not yet hidden in every human being, at least in the nature of the victor, the creator, the builder of his own life.
What's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.